Well, it is 1:11, so let's get started. Give thanks. Just start with the word of prayer. Over this time and space, we give thanks for life. We give thanks for health. We give thanks for strength. We give thanks for opportunities to come together, to empty our minds, to move ourselves, remove ourselves away from the physical, away from the world, away from those things we have acquired as we have come into this physical experience, and just spend some time within the heart space. Spend some time making an effort to elevate our minds. We give thanks for our families and our friends and for every person and family who came together for the holidays. We pray that everyone is able to return home safely, those who have traveled. And we just give thanks. We give thanks for a light heart. We give thanks for a willing spirit to be able to center our minds and move away from the ego, even for just a moment. So we speak life over this session. May it be peaceful for someone. May it create peace within someone's heart. May it stir up the soul and the solar plexus of those who may need that as well. We give thanks in advance for it. We know it's already done. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Oh, amen. I mean, so it is. All right. Okay. So greetings to everybody. It looks like everyone is I don't feel like I see anyone new, but if there's anybody new online, I greet you. I say welcome to you. I pray that you enjoy the experience. I feel compelled to start out with a card pull this morning. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't really have a set topic this morning. I was reflecting on something. I was reflecting on the word silence this AM. Oh, hey, from London. You made it on. Greetings. I was reflecting on silence this morning and, the necessity of it, the necessity, the benefit, the connection silence have with divine intelligence. And, how often, how the reality is we're not often in silence. Even if we're sitting still, often we're allowing our minds to just kind of take us away. And so we have to make an effort to silence our mind or be silent, and it's a process to learn how to do it or to get accustomed to indulging in silence, because our minds are so used to being scattered, monkey mind, we call it, or, because our intellect wants to take over, wants to be the ruler. Our intellect could absolutely be connected to ego, and want to figure things out. We tend to want to be fixers. We want to be figure outers. That's just our human nature. But our divine nature is led by spirit. Our divine nature is led by spirit. And in so many places, in so many holy texts, that silence is called the secret place or the prayer room. And, it said that we must take off our shoes. We must leave our minds aside, step into the quiet room, your secret place, your sacred place, and close the door, and allow for spirit to speak to you. And, I'm always talking about allowing spirit to speak, because that truly is the way that we see our path to our divine, our destiny, our divine path. It's the only way we can see our divine path. And yes, we gain messages throughout the day through different ways, through messages on billboards, through conversations, through situations, through just reading something, through seeing something. intuitively we know, God, that's a message. It reminds us of something. We give thanks for that still voice. But if we truly want to live a life that is led and guided, then we have to practice silence. We have to get used to, silence. How do I filter out the mind, cleanse out the mind so that it can be silent? And so that's the one thing I was reflecting about this morning. I was just going to talk a little bit about it. I clearly jumped into it, talking about it a little bit, and I'll talk about it a little bit more. But before we continue, let me go ahead and pull a card since I was compelled to do so. As I always mention, these different oracle decks, very impactful. If you connect with them and you really send a genuine prayer out for them to provide you some level of message for guidance, it really does. It does that, So we say a prayer that this card pool will reveal something for us to consider that can give us a little bit of guidance on our journey. We give thanks in advance for whatever message is to come from the pool. Solar plexus is all up in our cipher since the winter solstice. We've been getting cards emphasizing the solar plexus. Okay, so the card that I pulled was willpower. Willpower. Okay, and it reads, willpower, improve your willpower to reduce your stress level. Here's the poem. Show me your face so I would be free from desire to see the roses. Stand tall so I would see nothing but you, the lofty cypress of my garden. No matter how much you hurt me, Hafiz, would never turn away from you. For I found my freedom the moment I became a captive of your love. A life-changing moment has come to you in the fire of transformation and is calling you to say yes to love with your full will and conscious awareness. The poet is here to free your heart from temptation by guiding you to see the beauty of the beloved. When your heart shines with when your heart shines with courageous love, you will have the capacity to override unwanted thoughts, feelings, or impulses. By surrendering to love, you will have the willpower to resist short-term gratification in pursuit of long-term goals. When loving becomes your habit, it draws little, if any, willpower from you and frees up more of your energy for other things. Dear one, you are at a crucial point in your life. It is time to make a choice about your reason for being and what your life will stand for. If you feel that stress and normal self-control has depleted your resources, it is because you only have so much willpower. Let's see what options you have for increasing the pool of willpower you can draw from. This oracle is a guide for you to manage your stress levels by spreading love, so you can increase your ability to resist pressure from others to follow a path not right for you. Being under high levels of stress means your body's energy is used up and acting impulsively and making decisions based on short-term outcomes. Self-affirmation can help you be more confident and have more self-control when you're running out of energy. Mantra: I can manage my stress levels and direct my willpower to follow love. Okay. Says improve your willpower to reduce your stress level. Okay, Ashe. I just want to mention again, just remind you that love, we're talking about divine love here. We're not just talking about, oh, kumbaya, the love that makes you accept everything and everybody and everything that they do, and not be mad and be kind and be love. That's a beautiful love. But we're talking about love, divine love. And divine love is the ability to accept and allow things as they are, knowing that all is working out, everything's in divine order, all is well. You have the power to change things always. You have the power of the living God within you. That is love. That is divine love. The ability to release things, let things go, not feel like you have to control them because you trust. That is divine love. And so you can imagine if you take on and embody divine love, then you will conserve some energy. Then you won't be, overwhelmed or overly stressed out in life because you're allowing life to unfold in the best way, trusting that all is well. And I think one of the greatest ways that you can really accept divine love and begin to embody it is when you have that relationship with spirit and you trust spirit, like that the Most High will send you on the right path. The Most High is divinely protecting you. This. That you have this level of grace that's with you, that covers you, that goes before you, that comes after you. When you know all of those different things, it's easy for you to practice divine love. Divine love helps to calm the ego down, because sometimes the ego want to stand up for itself. Sometimes the ego wants to do things that spirit is telling you not to do. And sometimes those things look righteous. Like, you have a friend that's struggling with finances or something in life, and you feel like, oh, well, I'm their friend, so I should help. I'm supposed to be helping, but something is telling you leave that alone. Something is telling you no, don't do that, or it just don't feel right. It doesn't feel. You don't feel at peace doing it. You don't feel just joyous and free-hearted and lighthearted about it, but you feel duty-bound, like, oh, that's my friend though, or that's my family though. And I'm just giving just one example of a situation where we're not allowing divine love to take place because our ego can trick us sometimes. It can make us feel like it's the righteous thing to do. But I always say, pay attention to what you feel about it. Pay attention to what spirit is telling you about it, especially if you come up against problems early on with dealing with the situation. That's often a sign that you should not be dealing with that situation. Anybody can relate to that? Because oftentimes we get ourselves in situations where we feel responsible. That's my responsibility. That's my duty. Here's the mantra again. Someone asked, I can manage my stress levels and direct my willpower to follow love. In other words, set your will in the direction of divine love. Again, divine love, the acceptance and allowance of things to be, people to be, situations to be as they are, without the necessity for me to control it, without the necessity for me to manipulate it, without the necessity for me to do any of those things, but to allow it to unfold, trusting that the Most High will guide me in the best way to deal with the situation, that I will be divinely protected in the situation, provided for, and fairness will unfold naturally. Why is it It is, and I always repeat this divine love because many revered teachers talk about love and talk about how, one of the ways that we can really live our divine path and experience heaven here on earth is embodying love, understanding love, understanding love. And love is a faculty. It's a faculty that we have. But you have to practice it, because in this human experience, we tend to want to control things. We tend to want to fix things. We tend to want to hold on to things. And so that divine love frees the heart. That's why love is so, this whole deck talk about love all the time. You get so many scriptures in the Bible about love all the time. Quranic teachings are always talking about love. Muji talks about it. Every spiritual teacher I know talks about love. And love is also seen to be heart center, from your heart center. And so I think it's very helpful for us to truly understand what that love is, and that is just the easiest way I can tell you is the ability to let go, the ability to just let it be, the ability to just let it be. Let the triggers pass, let the ego back off, breathe through it, then set a prayer out, affirm what you desire or what you believe to be the best, and release it. Affirm and release it. That's real tough sometimes. That's real tough. Real tough sometimes. Okay. All right. So just getting back to what I was mentioning, that I was reflecting upon this morning about silence. I think I'd like for us to indulge in somewhat of a silent meditation today. Oftentimes we get used to having guided meditations, music playing, like having music in the background. For me, I'm always listening to a lecture. I'm always listening to something, but ever so often it's really good for us to just sit in silence. Just sit in silence. And it's a couple of things that you can do to help you to be able to do that better. One of those things is to spend time in meditation with just breathing, just focusing on your breath. Just focus on the breath, seeing how deeply you can inhale, seeing how slowly you can exhale, practicing different breathing patterns like the 4-4-4, where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, release it for 4, or the 4-7-8, or the they have 1-2-3. It's various breathing patterns. You could definitely look them up online. A lot of people have done a lot of work around breathing and the power of breathing. So that's one way, because now that you're focused on the breath, you're not allowing the thoughts to just run away with you. So that's one way. And just doing that often can really help you to slow the momentum of the mind down, because it's focused on just breathing. Another way is to literally just be silent, and be an observer of your thoughts. Meaning almost like you're watching them pass like clouds. You're not attaching to them. You're not, grasping on them and letting your mind go. But noticing how many thoughts you end up having during that meditation. And don't go hard on yourself like, man, look at me. Like, what in the world? Why is my mind? Don't worry. But it does help you to take a tally of just how mindful you are. Not mindful like we talk about being something good, like let's be mindful. Mindfulness. No, I propose that we strive to be mindless. Let's be mindless, not mindful. I think that's the more advanced level of, I guess, what people are striving for when they talk about being mindful, is to be mindless, because our mind can be full. And so the breathing exercise, but also the just sitting with yourself, being quiet, no music playing, no anything, just quiet. And then observing those thoughts. And once you begin to observe those thoughts, if you notice that a lot of your thoughts are thoughts of either stress, you try to figure something out, or worry, or doubt, or any kind of imbalance thing, then you may want to feed your mind with some nurturing, what I call soul food. So it's what this book that I'm reading called Holy Thoughts, feeding your mind affirmations, what I always talk about, affirming, feeding your mind those things. Just constantly throughout the day, feed your mind with things directing your mind, because your mind could create, it could go on this kind of life of its own. And now your mind is just focused on the mundane things of life, or it's trying to figure everything out, or whatever the mind is doing. Am I the only one, where the mind just it's just going on? It's like, okay, you have to really direct the mind. Let us direct the mind, put it centered, put it balanced. And I think a great exercise for us to do is to write down a list of affirmations that are life affirming and edifying for you specifically, so write down affirmations and try to take your time with that exercise, and not just do it just to be, just to write out some good affirmations. You can write good affirmations. Anybody can write some really good affirmations, but really do some affirmations that's relatable to you, your life, how you vibe, your personality, all of those different things, so that you can affirm, so that you can start to wipe out a lot of those thoughts that kind of take over. That way, when you're in that silence, when the thoughts do come, they're at least more positive thoughts. At least they're more positive thoughts. And when the thoughts are positive and you're in silence, you're almost like igniting, that voice of God within you. It's almost like, I'm from the Southern Baptist Church. So before the elder, preacher, or deacon, or whomever prayed, they affirmed God, for a good 10-15 minutes. It's like they spoke real good about God. Then they went into prayer. It's like priming, setting the atmosphere. And so when you're in that silent meditation, if you're focusing on positive thoughts or affirmative thoughts, or what I call holy thoughts, or, those life-giving, those God-affirming, those divine mind thoughts, then as you sit in silence, then, things activate, and God started to speak to you. So let us do some silence today. We're going to do some breathing. And then we're just going to vibe out in silence today. That's the best way I can say it. Let's just practice on some silent meditations. Just putting our mind on something positive, putting our mind on something light, and letting our mind kind of just settle down and settle in on divine mind, in divine mind. All right. So you don't have to see me, but you do have to hear me. Find yourself in a comfortable position. And we're just going to breathe, affirm the goodness of our Creator, and allow our mind to rest this morning. All right, let's just start with just breathing and relaxing the body. Spending a moment just turning off all thought, settling ourselves into the moment of meditation. Relaxing the mind, lightening the heart, relaxing the body. Taking deep cleansing breath in through the nose and slowly releasing it through the mouth. Doing your best to separate yourselves from the room, from your thoughts, from your to-do list, from the activities of the day. Continuing to breathe in through the nose and allowing it to release through the mouth. Slow as you can and relax. Allow your mind to settle and bring a focus to your breath. Release the tension in your shoulders. Relax your arms, your hands. Relax. Allowing the breath to fill the body. And as you exhale, allow the body to release. Release the forehead. Drop your jaw. Fully relax. It is truly when we relax that we open the door and allow for spirit to connect and speak. As you relax and open that door, be sure to close it to all thoughts, all concerns. Allow your mind and your heart to settle into silence. As the heart rate begins to slow down. And the mind begin to be free. Just allow yourself to be in the moment. Nothing to fix or figure out. Acknowledging that all is in divine order and is divinely planned. And yes, we've been blessed with intellect, will, zeal, human strength and capacity but the power, the strength, and the knowing that's sustainable, no matter how tired we may be. No matter what it seems like in this physical world, when it seems that we don't have the power or the knowledge or the resources, there is this strength, power, and divine intellect that always steps in. It's always present. It's always accessible. The only requirement from us is to let go and allow. Instead of reacting or holding on, instead of tensing up or thinking of the worst case scenario, let us practice to breathe. Settle our hearts, settle our minds, and then affirm the grace, mercy, protection, and providence that we always have. As you continue to breathe, affirm within yourself, I am a divine being. I have divine intelligence within me. Anything I need to know in order to direct my path comes to me. I have access to infinite potential. No matter what it looks like, sounds like, feel like, things are always working out on my behalf. I am divinely provided for. The reality is, there are no limitations. I am always growing and expanding and healing. Whatever it is that I need, it is provided. I am patient. I resist temptation to fear and doubt and worry. I release all tension and stress from my heart and my mind. I allow my heart to be light as I experience the dynamics of life. I release stress from my shoulders. I release anxiety from my chest. I release the monkey mind that keeps my mind noisy where I can't hear the voice of the Almighty. I give space to hear spirit. I listen to spirit and move accordingly and courageously. I release the tendency to allow others' opinions to sway me. I trust my inner guidance. I am light, and I attract light. Spirit flows through me, just as my breath and blood. In this moment, I release all thought, and in silence, I allow spirit to speak. Continue to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Relax. Just be. Nothing to think about. Just be in silence. And even if it's not a voice that you hear, in this silence, know that things are calibrating, aligning, just for you in your life, in your path. Because you have slowed the thoughts down. You've settled the heart. You've relaxed the body. You're given space, room for the Almighty to work in you as it works in the soil when you plant your seeds. The divine intelligence is there. And it's doing exactly what's needed to be done. Be not eager to gain instructions. Be not eager to be led to do. Allow yourself to just be. So we begin to close. Take a slow, relaxed breath in through the nose and allow it to release. I'm going to do that 2 more times. In through the nose. Allowing it to release. And 1 more time. And allow it to release. We close affirming that we are divine beings. And so, of course, we are divinely guided, divinely protected, and divinely provided for. We accept the grace that comes with this reality. We speak that we are rid of ego and merged with Almighty in mind, in heart, in spirit. We give thanks, for this lightens our heart and clears our minds so that we can be worthy vessels to carry out the works of God in all that we do. Ashe. 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 Oh, amen. Amen. You may come back to the present moment, maybe by wiggling your fingers and toes. Giving yourself a little stretch. Giving thanks for this moment of relaxation and meditation. All right. Give thanks. We are going to come back to the present moment just briefly. We'll get ready to close. All right, post check. How we feeling? Are we present, aware, and accounted for? Ashe. Ashe. Give thanks to him. Give thanks, Paige. Ashe. Thanks, Kim. Sheena. Ashe. All right. Well, let us get ready to close. I don't want to hold you. And just close by our usual reading for encouragement. From White Fire. It reads, we are called in this life to come home to our true self, not home to somewhere away, apart, or foreign. For our true home can never be somewhere else. You are returning to your own being by the only gracious power in the world. And you are afraid it won't take care of you. The wise call this ignorance, which is the root of suffering. You prioritize your projection, thinking that somehow if you surrender to the unseen, it may not give you what you want, as though what you want could be greater than what the Lord would reveal in you. It seems ridiculous when it is put like this, but some arrogance is inside, making us think if I had a chance to run the world or let God continue running it, I think I could do a better job. You wouldn't say this out loud, of course, but such thoughts are typical of the ego, which is actually only a thought construct in itself. Nothing in the world is wrong if you have the right mind. You see falsely because your mind is not in harmony with the self. This is why there is this nervous urge to keep running away whenever the imaginary self, the person, feels confronted or challenged by the truth. Consider, perhaps the identity you are running away, perhaps the identity you are running away as is the very thing you should turn away from. Consider, perhaps the identity you are running away as is the very thing you should turn away from. Ashe. Lord. It says, listen, you are returning to your own being by the only gracious power in the world, and you are afraid it won't take care of you. The wise call this ignorance, which is the root of suffering. You prioritize your projections, thinking that somehow, if you surrender to the unseen, it may not give you what you want, as though what you want could be greater than what the Lord will reveal right there within you. Ashe. I give thanks. I give thanks that we have the consciousness to strive to return back to our very being, our essence. I give thanks we have the consciousness to do so. May we be courageous. May we not fall temptation to the ego, to be fearful. Doesn't it seem strange for us to feel like we can do better than the Almighty? But that's what we're doing when we stress and we worry and we try to control things and It's like we feel like we can control and we can do better. My intellect, my own mind. So as we said in the beginning, it started out with the card pull. It talked about divine love, accepting and allowing things as they are. We talked about in silence, we're able to hear the voice of the Almighty. We're able to allow the mind to free up so that we can move out of our way. And so we speak today, and I pray that you can take this message with you, that I am returning back to my divine being, my true self, and I trust that everything that I need, everything that I desire, it all starts and is rooted within my true self. I have no necessity to reach outside of myself or depend on things outside of myself. Ashe. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And hey, the next time I'll see you for Sunday meditation will be in the new calendar year. Ashe. So for those who celebrate it, Happy New Year. I pray that as you prepare for the new calendar year, if you see it as the new year, I pray that you can get very grounded and centered in your own personal power so that you can grow and flourish. And 2022 can be just as amazing, if not more, than 2021 was. I speak that over our lives, that we shall experience so much peace, so much love, so much healing, so much abundance, so much expansion in our lives and all of our territories. Ashe. All right. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for joining. Peace and love.